Hey, Srijit. Thanks for joining us today. To start off, can you give
Hi,
us a brief intro of who you are and what you do for Qonto?
sure. Hi, I'm Srijit. I work as a senior product marketer at Qonto, based in Paris. And yeah, happy to join this call.
Awesome. And just to kick us off, would love to hear about maybe a unique or different way that you all are using interactive demos in your product marketing strategy.
Yeah, so demos are an important part of our product marketing strategy. We typically use it for two purposes. I'd say either to promote our products and features to our customers, or to educate them about how to use our products and features. So these are kind of the two ways in which we use them. So both for acquisition as well as adoption.
I love that breakout because I do think also the demos tend to be a little different when you're using it more promotional, storytelling versus a little more how to. Can you talk a little
Yeah.
bit about do you ever create a demo and then clone it for education purposes? Do you create entirely different demos for different things? Just would love to hear how you decide what is like promotional and what's educational.
Yeah, for sure. Before we even go into Navattic, we usually storyboard like what we want to say with our features, how we want to line them up, and what sort of the overarching story we want to tell. And then we typically create, depending on the story, we can create separate demos, or we can create one demo and then clone it and then adjust it, tweak it a little bit, maybe change some of the screens, some of the graphics, and some of the messaging, obviously. But we like that Navattic gives us the flexibility to do that, to make those choices.
When you are doing it for more that product promotion use case, what channels are you promoting it through? Is it on the website, blog, or like feature announcements?
Yeah, so for promotional purposes, yeah, it's on the website, it'll be on the blog. We sometimes embed it in like emails to like prospects that we send. And it's usually powerful for prospects because I think they want to see what the app can do, what our product can do. And it's a great way to just like show and not tell.
Awesome. And sort of same question on the educational front, because this is a use case we've been seeing more and more of customers
Yeah.
putting in like help articles, of them maybe sending it for one-on-one training. Would be curious how you're using it there.
Yeah, so we actually use it a lot in our newsletter. So we have monthly, quarterly newsletters to our users, and sometimes we'll embed a Navattic demo if we're dealing with a complex feature, or with a feature that we really want to like highlight. So and there the goal is more to sort of show the user how to like give the user a walkthrough of the feature and its main sort of use cases, what it's helping them accomplish, and to show them how easy it is to do those actions. It's very powerful actually to like see it, because like sometimes you're just like too tired to read and you don't want to go through, you don't want to pour through like, I don't know, like a whole block of text and then figure out, okay, what does this mean on the actual app? But when you show them the clicks on the screen, I think that's a lot more powerful.
I want to take a little bit of a step back to the building process. I know you mentioned the storyboarding it out. I'm curious as far as getting internal alignment for these demos. Is it mostly
Mm.
just you, going from storyboarding to building? Is there anyone that you need to get their feedback on, or what is that typical process?
Yeah, so it's usually the PMM who like creates the story, but then we do have to get alignment from PMs to make sure that we're promoting or talking about or showing the right aspects, qualities of the feature. We also work with other teams, from copy, content to, marketing, to get their feedback as well. Sometimes with, our UX team to just, represent the text on the screen and things like that. So the alignment for us is more just getting inputs from various teams around the company to make sure that we're telling the story in the most efficient and effective manner, and most representative manner of the product.
Makes a lot of sense, especially from product, right? Like, I think product marketers generally know the best way to position a new product, but product knows, like, okay, this is a really important part that we should showcase, or oh, maybe this isn't
Yeah.
as important.
Oh, it sparks a lot of interesting discussions actually, and it like it's very productive because then you have a shared visualization of what matters, when you're presenting it to the user. And so in an interesting way, it allows PMMs and PMs to really align on like on the screen, what are the important things or qualities or characteristics of this feature? And I don't think you get those conversations when you're just like talking or when you're, I don't know, like on Figma or or on something else. I think there's something unique about that experience with Navattic.
Yeah, that's such an interesting point. It's almost like a forced retro when you come out with a new feature of, hey, this is
Yeah.
the most important parts, or like this is what really shines, or even evaluating a little bit of the. I think Nevada tours always make you really think about like UI and UX, and maybe being like,
Yes.
oh, that we did a really good job here, or like, oh, maybe this is something we can even improve on.
100%. Yes. The UI UX point is actually very important because in the past it's actually helped me even identify areas of improvement for our UI UX, where I'm just like, hey, I'm actually experiencing the product, and when I'm trying to show a user how to do this, it's kind of not intuitive. Or like, hey, this button is hidden, here. So when I'm telling the story on Navattic, like, because you're thinking in steps there, you're like, wait, why is my user having to go and click like 5 times to get to this one step or this one action? So it does spark very interesting like discoveries around UI UX and just feature design in general,
Okay, curious
of
if you had
course.
a new member of your team who's brand new to Novatic, what would be some of your top tips for a Novatic newbie?
As a PMM, the first thing is if you're working on like multiple demos, which you usually are, like create like your workspaces, organize it as best as you can, because otherwise it can get overwhelming. And one thing I like doing is I like organizing by feature and mark because we operate in different markets, so we organize by feature and market. Um, I think that's one tip I have. The other is like storyboard. Before you build anything, don't just go cold into building. Try to visualize, and actually, once you storyboard and then start building, there you'll see how like the story that you had in mind or the sequence that you had in mind might be affected by like the product's workflow itself. So I would say that. Three, get as much feedback as possible in the early stages as you set up each step. Get each step reviewed, get the placement even of, your modals and your banners, all of that reviewed. So I think those are important points. Oh, and the last one is make sure that the what do you call them? The screenshots that you're pulling are from like the most representative version, staging environment or version of the app. Um, yeah, and that there is consistency, between all of them. Also, I think using some of the tools like blur things out, and like we work on like a financial app, so oftentimes you want to blur out like account numbers and amounts and things like that. I think that feature is like at least within our team, it was criminally underused. So we hadn't known about that feature, and then we found out that hey, we can actually modify the screenshot and like blur stuff out, or even like write over text and stuff. Man, that was a game changer. Yeah, like that's like one of my favorite features is that I can modify a screenshot. Like
Yeah.
yes to that.
Last question from me for today. Curious if you have any data or results that you're able to share, or even any like quantitative feedback you've gotten from the team about using Novatic.
We're running a couple of campaigns right now, and we're still waiting to on like the results, definitive results. But overall, the feedback I've heard from even some of my other teammates who've been here longer using this for longer is that Navattic demos do lead to higher sort of open rates, click-through rates, and then obviously like measuring product adoption is a little more challenging because like attribution is like to an in-app action is a little bit challenging. But we have seen spikes in adoption every now and then after we release like a Navattic tour. I also think like I don't have the exact results off the top of my head, but we did do an A/B test with like some web pages featuring a Navattic demo versus not. And I think that the test case with a Navattic demo got 10 to 20% more clicks.
That's awesome. Really appreciate all of these insights. Like I said,
Of
the
course.
product feedback one is something I'm going to share with like my team directly after that because that was such a new, interesting way that I've never thought about Navattic before.
Of course.